Alright, this is Ethan, back again with some graffiti drawing. Today I'm remastering an old idea that I had, an old canvas piece that I made. I like the way that the letters are shaped, but I don't like how I made a couple of mistakes when I first made it, and I don't like the fact that the canvas pattern was showing through, and I kind of wanted to make a few of my older ideas like digital, so I can upload it to my Redbubble and get some merch, or at least get like a cleaner looking product, because I'd really enjoy the digital aspects of getting crispy lines and putting everything exactly where you need it to be at any time and being able to undo and stuff. But I also like drawing with the markers and everything, so I might end up just doing a digital version of most of the things that I do or have done, just because it'll look better, I guess. Even though the idea and the original one is, textured in a way, because I did it with my hands. I'd prefer more solid blocking or more solid edges or whatever. But back to the design. The previous design was fine, but I thought perhaps a bit too simple, so I changed it up a little bit. I changed how the letters interact with each other, and then I added this kind of extra set of elements behind them, as if they were like iterations of the letters, but peeling away or coming off or something. I'm not really sure how else to describe it. But so far I've just been putting in the first lines and figuring out the shape that I want to be using here for these letters. One of the trickier parts was figuring out how high up each letter needed to be compared to the other parts of other letters. And I need to figure out where the blocks interact with each other on the sides and on the back, and kind of like all the little corners and things. It's kind of like 3D. It is, I guess it is 3D. It's not as 3D as I could make it, but I do like doing 3D styles. One thing I liked about redoing this is I got to put some 3D effect on the letters. Beforehand, it was just fill in lines, or I guess outlines, and the shadow. But this time I'm putting in some 3D blocking on all the shapes, and then adding a shadow, which I think makes it a little bit nicer. And then I've noticed for something like this, most of the time that I spend on it is spent adjusting details or fixing little parts. much less actually figuring out what to do next. More so just kind of getting it done, because I know which parts need to look better or smoother. Sometimes it looks odd to me watching these back while I'm doing the voiceover and watching the little details get fixed, but so much faster. It's much more satisfying than actually doing it, because sometimes I'll spend like 10 minutes on one little area making like the same tiny little adjustment over and over again. And it's nice to kind of watch it back and see it happen in like half a second at, 2000% speed or whatever this is. Part of me wishes I had done this a little bit better. I didn't separate any of the color blocking into different layers. It's all on the same layer. And I feel as though if I had maybe separated some of these elements into different layers, I could have cut myself, some slack, a little bit of like time, I guess. Save myself some time, some work. But that's kind of why I'm doing these anyways, to help me understand Photoshop a little bit better and understand what I can do. I feel like at this point I'm still very much learning everything. Even though I've been using digital tools and digital programs to draw and paint and stuff, I still feel like I'm learning everything after years of interacting with it. Like this project was the first time I really tried to mess around with layer masking. And we'll see that in a second here after I redo this outline. Layer masking is great because you can take elements or shapes and make that into its own section, separate that from the image itself, and then with that little shape or set of elements you can dictate how opaque the layer is, and you can get some really nice fading effects from one element to another, or maybe one image on top of another. I guess side note here, I had some friendly people come into my stream and they said they were going around asking a bunch of art streamers to draw them some soup. So I obliged. I made some nice ramen soup for them, and then they went about their merry way. I had some fun doing that. I like doing little random things. It was a nice break from what felt like a tedious monotony of doing what I already knew I wanted to do. Because like this whole design felt pretty much like I was just practicing. And it was nice to kind of take a break from that, do a little fun bowl of soup real quick. I wonder why I guess maybe other streamers that they visited were probably busy doing some like kind of predetermined thing. I'm usually streaming to interact or whatever, because I can always just make the art. But, you know, when I'm streaming, I'm happy to interact and do fun little things like that. During this process, I felt like I was going over the same areas like half a dozen times, at least. It started to feel pretty tedious. I feel like I could only ever do 1 or 2 of this type of project in a row before I have to do something that's like more directly creative than this. Because I like the idea of making my older designs more digital friendly or more updated to, you know, match my current skill set or whatever to make it better. But at the same time, I just feel like I don't like feeling like I'm doing the same thing. But it's nice that when I'm doing something I feel like I've done before, I can learn from it and see how I did it better, how I did it faster, what techniques looked better or worked better for that image in my head or what have you. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't understand how people do the exact same thing or the exact same style of thing over and over and over again, because, you know, there's like there's this guy I watch who does the same type of spray paint art, like street art with the stencils and the planets and stuff, and it looks really great. But after I'm done watching a few of his videos, I'm like, okay, I feel like I've seen it. I feel like I've seen it. I've seen enough of that. Maybe not enough of it, but it doesn't feel as new to me. It doesn't feel, I don't know, it doesn't engage with me as much after I've seen it so many times. And I feel like I feel that way when I'm making stuff too. So I try to make each next thing at least a couple steps different from the last few things I've made. I don't really like using the same exact colors over and over again, even though I totally do. But I feel I try to change the vibe. I try to change everything just a little bit. And it's not even to avoid like falling into a rut of doing the same thing. I just get bored. I do the same thing with everything. You know, when I play drums, I play different styles. I don't play the same song over and over again and practice the same song over and over again. I literally treat it like Rock Band. I play it once and I'm done for the day. And you know, if I improve on it the next day, then great, but I'm just there to kind of have fun, I guess. Repetition is something I don't really enjoy too much for some reason when it comes to like a creative process. Is that strange? It might be. Anyway, right now I'm working on the background elements for this piece. I've really come to appreciate having a little bit of a patterned background on these graffiti pieces and other kind of like abnormal shaped pieces, because I like the shape of the letters and whatnot, but I also don't like negative space, and I don't want the background to just be plain if I can avoid it, or if I feel like I can add something. So I try to make a nice little background. And these pattern backgrounds are fun to make. I get to do a lot of copying and pasting and making it feel, you know, exact, making the pattern feel perfect. fit together like a puzzle piece or whatever. It feels nice. And what's really nice is I don't have to draw a bunch of these. I just draw one and then I copy and paste it, and I just make sure that the first one is perfect. And then in like no time at all, I've got a full background of a pattern. And doesn't that fit just so nice right behind it? I feel like it goes really well with it. This is one of those moments where I got lost in the sauce with all my layers, had to condense it down, do some merging, finally get back to it. When I make projects on a digital space, I do use a lot of layers most of the time, and then I end up not naming any of the layers. So I have this list of like 40 layers. None of them have names, and you can't really see in the little window what's really there most of the time compared to the other layers, because they end up looking pretty similar. So I had to do a few minutes of consolidating and merging down and combining, so that way I wasn't looking at like 30 different stacks of things. It was more like 4 or 5 interactive layers. Sometimes it can get pretty intense. This is the part where I finally got into using that layer masking I was talking about. I wanted to add a bit of lightness to the outline towards where the light source was coming from, and I used a layer mask on the line work on the outlines so that I could add some lightness to only the outline parts of the element or part of the drawing. I really like the way that worked out. It makes it look like the edges, nicely rounded or nicely beveled off. And then obviously each block gets a little bit of a highlight as well. It's a nice way to add 2 different little light source highlight type of things. And then one of the last things I really had to do is fix all the shadows, make sure everything was shaded properly, and then we're just about done here. There was a problem that was bothering me the whole time though. I really couldn't figure out what I wanted to put inside of the red blocks on the face of the letters, and I spent a good amount of time just sitting at the screen in the red, and I haven't come up with anything the whole time. Contemplating how to do it. I don't know, it just seems like I'm missing something and I can't figure out what to put. I even tried adding some other color features. I just got annoyed with it. I tried a few times, it just wasn't working out. It's me just looking for a solution, staring into the screen, into the abyss of the lack of ideas. Writer's block or artist block can be so fun. Eventually I just decided to scrap that. Maybe it is just done. I don't know. So before I show you the final, here's my plug. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please come through to my website at www.thick216.com. All my favorite designs are there. Come through to my Instagram where I have all of my published works. Only bangers on my Instagram. My Redbubble page features all of my best designs on some wonderful merch. All kinds of clothing, mouse pads, hats, anything you can think of. Shower curtains, stickers, laptop cases, phone cases. Here I am displaying a nice hoodie, classic design, a pillow. Who could do without a pillow? Nobody. Everyone needs a pillow. Very soft. We've also got prints. Any kind of print you could want. Posters, metal prints, framed prints. We've got zipper bags, zipper pouches. Put every pencil, every pen you've ever had in there. Mouse pad, desk pad, game mats. Anything you could think of. I've even got a bath mat and a shower curtain. Also come through to my TikTok, small videos there. And then my YouTube for all my full-length videos. And Fiverr if you want me to make art for you. Thanks again for watching. Here's the final result. I like it very much. I hope you do too. Thank you very much again for watching. Come follow me on all of my socials. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, the whole 9 yards. Posting everywhere I can. Feel free to head to my Redbubble and pick up some merch too. I got some good designs on some good products. So come on through.